Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. As we're waiting for everyone to get settled in here, we are going to be using Menti today. So there's a couple ways that you can join. If you want to scan the QR code, you can join on your phone. Or you can also use your browser, however you're logged in here, and go to menti.com and then enter the code that's at the top of the screen here. If you can just get that pulled up, then we can make sure that that's all running while we're waiting for everybody to get in here. Again, welcome in as everybody's getting joined here. Happy to have you guys. We're going to give it a few minutes to let people log in. But again, go ahead and join our Menti. We're going to be using that to do our presentation today and to make it interactive. We got some fun games and stuff planned for you. So if you, while we're waiting to get started, want to join either using the QR code or menti.com and the code at the top of the page, that would be great. All right, awesome. I can see those thumbs up means you guys are getting in there for us. Awesome. Last time before we get started, we are going to be using Menti today. So if you guys want to log into Menti, be able to join our games using either the QR code or the code at the top of the page to join there. But I think we'll go ahead and get started. You have everybody ready, you guys? Perfect. So welcome in. Obviously, our topic today, as it's showing on the screen, is meeting the team. So we're all here and happy to do a little introduction to ourselves. Just a quick overview, if you want to go to the next slide, of what we'll be talking about today. So we're going to start with some introductions of the whole team, some fun facts about us, and then we'll go into the client life cycle, meaning, kind of how you go from signing up for the software to getting really trained on using the software and how that goes. And then present some continued learning opportunities. So after our implementation phase, we're still here to help you out. We'll show you some ways that you can get in touch with us. And we're going to be throwing in some fun facts. As I said, there's some games and stuff throughout. So pay attention and see if we can get those numbers right when we ask for them. I did want to point out that we'll be throwing in some Q&A throughout the presentation today. So if you have any questions, you can hold on to them for that section, or you're welcome to use that Q&A feature. We'll try to answer those throughout the presentation today, and I will hand it over to Sierra.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kelsey, for that intro. And as Kelsey already mentioned, we are super excited to bring our Meet the Team series back again here with us, the training team this time. So we have lots of fun things planned as well as lots of topics to cover. So we're just going to jump right in. Before we dive into the things that we want to cover today, we want to start by introducing ourselves as the training team. You already may see some familiar faces. You've probably worked with at least one or two of us in the past. So let's start out with Leah. Now, Leah is the manager of our magnificent training team, and she is located in Colorado. She's been with the company for 4 years. And a quick fun fact about Leah outside of work, she's all about mountain biking. While any rocky trail is fun, she especially loves enduro rides and races and thinks it is the perfect mix of fast descents, challenging climbs, and enough chaos to keep things exciting. Moving down to the bottom row, we have myself. My name is Sierra, and I am located in North Carolina. And I actually just recently celebrated 3 years with the company. And when not working, you can find me behind the camera. I do like to take pictures in my spare time. And moving over, we have Danessa. Now Danessa is in Virginia Beach, and she also recently celebrated 3 years with the company. When Danessa is not training, she loves being a dog mom to her Pomchi Milo, who is Pomeranian and a Chihuahua mix. Next, we have Brandon. Brandon is located in Utah and he's been with the company for 9 years. Outside of Modio, he runs a small business that has no investors, no capital, lots of course, lots, no sleep, and very four loud employees that he also calls his kids. Um, Kelsey is also located in Utah, and she is actually the newest member to the training team. So we welcomed her a few weeks back, about a month ago. And in her free time, she enjoys making miniature house models. So that's just a little bit about our team here. Hopefully, you guys found those things interesting. And we're going to move right along into the first bit of content that we want to cover today, which is actually the life cycle. So implementation, T&O calls, and workflow review. Both Leah and Brandon are going to cover these topics for us.
All right, thank you, Sierra. I'll start by covering implementation. So every new client participates in a new client implementation, and there's a good chance that a lot of you folks on this call right now were part of an implementation at some point. So a big part of those implementations, of that implementation process, are the training sessions, and implementation trainings are also when the training team first meets with you, our clients. A standard implementation has 5 1-hour comprehensive training sessions. And we start those off with the basics to make sure that you, as new coordinators, feel comfortable navigating the platform. And then we level up each of those sessions with more advanced features, workflows, and best practices. So every one of those 5 sessions does have key takeaways, next steps, and a hands-on interactive portion. So it's not just like us talking at you, it's like an interactive, we learn together and get used to the platform together. And each of those sessions does have like a structured plan, but we know that each of you as clients are different. So we tailor the content in each of those training sessions to match your credentialing needs, your credentialing goals, and your learning style to make sure that everyone gets the most out of those training sessions. And that helps ensure like no implementation training is a one size fits all. It's all for you, the client. Uh, After implementation is over, the training and support doesn't stop though. You'll always have access to T&O calls or training and optimization calls. Those calls are typically hosted by your customer success manager, your CSM, and then they'll be supported by or backed up by somebody here on our training team. Chances are the trainer that you met during the implementation training sessions will still be with you during T&O calls. And that way you've got a familiar face when you go into those calls and also somebody who knows your credentialing needs and how you're using the platform. These calls, the topics can vary quite a bit. They're really whatever you, our client, needs. So if you wanted to dive into a specific feature or one of our brand, get some additional one-on-one training with a brand new enhancement, we can definitely do that. Other optimization calls are working through like a challenge or a pain point that your organization might be having. We can always help with those too. Or occasionally we've got a client who maybe has been with us for quite some time and they just want to go through and make sure that as an organization, they're using all of the features that they have access to within the platform. And we love supporting those types of calls too. So if you, as a coordinator, would like some additional training, you can always reach out to your CSM or that support at modiohealth.com email and get those scheduled. So I'll turn the workflow review piece over to Brandon.
Awesome. Thanks, Leah. And I think I can speak for the team that we love joining those TNO calls because they're not so cut and dry as like the 1.0 trainings. It's just great. It's good stuff. It's like problem solving. That's why we love those TNO calls. But no, I've been asked to speak about what our workflow review service is. So these work flow review calls, what they are is they're basically a chance for our clients to take a step back and see how OneView is working for them kind of in their day to day. How it works is your project manager, they'll help get it set up, and your trainer will actually guide the conversation, making sure your workflows are running smoothly and that it still fits where your business needs are headed. We'll walk you through how you're using the platform currently. We'll help spot any areas where things can run a little bit smoother, and also maybe share some ideas to make your life a little bit easier, kind of within your day to day. And sometimes that could mean streamlining your steps within the platform, like for tracking, make better use of the features you already have or currently using, and possibly introducing new features that's not being used as of yet. So. It's also a perfect time to share any feedback, talk through any challenges or ask more about what our advanced features are that you've been curious about, whether you're growing or looking to fine tune things, within the platform. And really, by regularly visiting these workflows, our clients can stay aligned with the best practices, cut down on any wasted time, and feel confident that your team is getting the most out of OneView for now and also for the long haul.
Perfect. Thank you, Brendan and Leah, for covering the life cycle of the client. I just want to pause here really quickly. There is one question in the chat. It was a question about the slides. So once today's call is done, like always, you will receive an email with the full recording. So you'll have access to see these again. Also, this will be uploaded to the ModioU page. And if you're not familiar with what that is, then we're actually going to talk about that next. So then you will be able to review the recording or these slides again. All right, so let's move on. We'll have a couple of review questions as far as the life cycle of the client. So this is your time to be interactive. If you've signed that QR code, then it's time to use that. So let's go to the next page here. And the first question is, how many implementation trainings are there? And just choose here on your, you'll see it on your device, and then be sure to hit submit. And then once I see that everyone who signed in with Menti is complete with adding their answers, then I will go in and input what it should be. How many implementation trainings are there? This one's kind of a trick question because depending on how long you've been with us, you may have had it one way or you may have had it another way. So this one is an interesting question. All right, we have a few more folks. We'll give it another 2 seconds. We got some thumbs up. All right, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal our answer. So the answer is 5. However, if you're one of our older clients, then when you went through implementation, you probably did have 4 trainings. Because fun fact, it used to be 4 before we got that V2 training smack dab in the middle there. So now we have the 101, 102, and the 201 was inserted in there when we got that V2 up and running. So if you've answered 5, then you have chosen the correct answer. We have one more for this portion. We'll go to the next question. Who schedules the T&O calls between yourselves as the client and your designated trainer? Who sets that up? And if you've had these T&O calls, then you know who reaches out to you and connects you with us as the training team. This is another one that can kind of be a little tricky as well. We've got some folks putting their answers in. Don't forget, use your device. Make sure you hit submit so that it'll populate on our screen here. All right. So this one, oh, I'll give it another second. Okay, so the answer here is your CSM. But if you put the support team, I could get how you gotten that answer as well, because you do email support@modiohealth.com, and you can say, whatever your request is, or sometimes it's just a question and then that question turns into a call, which is still scheduled by your CSM, and they loop in your trainer. And that is when we get on the call and have a party. So, um, you are right if you've chosen your CSM. And CSM just stands for your Client Success Manager. Perfect. And you guys stay logged in there. We're going to play some more at the end. For now, we are going to move forward to our next portion, which is actually the continued learning opportunities. So this is where we'll talk about the support page, tip guides, Modio University. Also, the QR code is back on this slide. So if you kind of missed the beginning of the call, that QR code was on the first two intro slides. This gives you the opportunity to log in and start playing if you haven't logged in already. So I'll hang tight for like 1 second and then we'll move forward. Danessa is going to bring forth our support page and tip guide content, and then I will move on to cover the Modio University stuff. All right, perfect. Whenever you're ready, Danessa.
Thank you, Sierra. So, as you guys know, we have our training and support page. So, it's just a great, valuable space just for some continued opportunities and learning of the platform. So, it features comprehensive tip guides. They're pretty much just like PowerPoints created for every feature of the platform. So, these guides are designed to provide step-by-step support, offering like some in-depth insight and some practical tips to help you guys maximize your experience and success with each tool and function available. So we can see that on the screen Sierra is sharing with us. So on the one towards the left, that is what our training and support page looks like there. Also, you can see like on the right-hand side, there's also some other support, like you'll see like our support at modiohealth.com, our hours of operation. If you're ever like wondering about turnaround times for certain things, that's also where you can find that information. And then that screenshot towards the right is an example of what one of our tip guides looks like there. So if you haven't kind of explored in that page, I definitely recommend you doing so. To take advantage of all of those learning opportunities. So I will hand it back to you, Sierra.
Perfect. Thank you, Danessa. So yeah, let's also talk about Modio University. And you guys know at least a little bit about it. You're here, right? So for our ModioU or Modio University page, this is where you can find all of our pre-recorded training videos. And this is a good go-to resource for like continued learning on the platform. The 5 core implementation videos are actually the first ones that you'll see there. If you visited that page, as you can kind of see in the screenshot, it's that table view. So the first 5 will be your implementation. So if you ever have like, new employees and they need to get up and running, then they can do the full implementation training right there from the ModioU page at their own pace. And going at your own pace is a really big advantage to using the ModioU page. There are so many different recorded courses. They cover a range of topics from like credentialing workflows, advanced platform features, and they are there on demand. So that really does allow that at your own pace learning to deepen your knowledge and stay up to date with all of the changes that are happening within OneView. So yeah, very valuable tool for ongoing training and helping the end user stay sharp and knowing what the platform has to offer. And a fun fact about the Modio U's. So far this year, we've completed 14 Modio U's with a total of 1,995 registered participants. So thank you guys for always being willing to join us here for the continued learning. And then in the second screenshot, that's just where you'll see that registration page. And you can get there by actually selecting right in this first screenshot. It says register for courses here. When you click here, it'll take you to this next page that shows you what ModioUs we have coming up. You can get like a little intro there and you can sign up for those. And as I mentioned previously, let's say you sign up and it just doesn't pan out that you're able to be there live, you'll get a recording once it's done. So, another way to take advantage of getting that additional knowledge without having to stop your day and, you know, cut into your day to attend the ModioU. All right. How are we doing on questions? I no longer have that screen up. Are we okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
one thing I was going to add to Sierra, since we were talking about fun facts with the tip guides. So one little fun fact with the tip guides is from between January and July of this year, we've revised about like for the tip guides, we've revised them about 72 times. So we definitely try to make sure we have that updated training material for you guys.
Yeah, the cool thing, and those tip guides are really fun if you're like familiar with PowerPoint, and they are very, very detailed. They label out everything, and we update them often. So anytime there's a change and you are like, hey, this looks different, run over to your tip guide because chances are it's been updated there as well, and that can help you as you're getting acclimated or running into some of those newer changes. So thank you for sharing that with us, Danessa.
Absolutely.
I'm going to click here and we are going to play, end off with another game here. So this one I like to call Take a Guess. And then we're going to just talk about, some of the fun things that we've gone through this year so far. This data reflects January through July of this year, so the first half. And then also I wanted to include the customer service score, so 4.91. And we really love hearing you guys' great feedback. It does give us great drive. And again, there's that QR code if you're just now joining or you want to play the end game. Go ahead and scan that as we move forward. Also, during this time, Leah is going to talk about tracking. That is the only thing that we haven't covered so far. So we look forward to hearing a little bit about that as well. So the first question here, and this one is a sliding scale, so a little bit different than how we've usually done it. But use your phone here or whatever your device is. This one you will slide on the scale to choose your answer. And the question is, take a guess of how many implementation calls have been hosted so far. Again, this is from January to July. And once you find your answer on the sliding scale, just go ahead and hit submit. And we can see those cool little mountains showing up there on the screen. We'll give you guys another moment or so. It looks like we have some folks who are still inputting their answers. All right, so for this one, this one is 444 implementation calls hosted so far. So if you can remember with the implementation, those are those first 5 trainings that you receive once you are, you new to using OneView. So 444 of those hosted so far from, again, January to July. The next question, you will do exactly the same as we've done this time, and this one is for optimization calls supported. So use your sliding scale to input your answer and hit submit. We got some answers already flying up on the screen here. Some thumbs ups. Perfect. We're going to give it another second or so. So if you haven't already, go ahead and slide your answer onto that scale and hit submit. And we're going to get ready to show the final answer. All right, so for optimization calls, we have done 221. So 221 calls scheduled where, either there's additional training or there's questions or whatever the case may be as far as optimization calls, 221 of those handled so far. So that is fun. And as Brandon mentioned earlier, we really do enjoy the optimization calls. They are such a different feel from the implementation calls. Sometimes you get in those and it goes a totally different way than you expect it, and in a good way. And we love the opportunity to continue to educate you guys. So we have a good time doing those. Okay, so before you enter your guess here, we're gonna let Leah tell us about tracking, and then we will go ahead and put our answers in.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Sierra. So just like Sierra said, before we do the tracking questions, I'll just give a brief overview on how training helps to manage the tracking feature within OneView. So we, as the trainers, we do manage all of your tracking requests post-implementation. Sometimes those requests are pretty simple, like maybe a date correction, or if you accidentally closed out a step too early or needed that reopened, send those requests over to support@modiohealth.com and we can help get those reopened for you. And there's also some additional tracking requests that we help with. And one is doing revisions on your tracking templates. Those requests would come from a primary coordinator on your team. And what that means is like adjusting those steps in your tracking dashboard that you follow. Some larger tracking updates might be like a full tracking template overhaul. So like, let's say your organization just went through like a lot of growth, or you want to enhance the way that you're using that, we might do an overhaul. That could come in, that might end up being like a call or two, along with your CSM, just to ensure that your templates are accurate, effective, and are following all the best practices to make sure that you're using the platform to the best of its potential. But regardless of the extent of any tracking template edit requests, as you send over those templates or as we make those changes, the training team will go through and make sure like that it's been proofread. We'll do a spell check. We'll make sure that it's formatted correctly before we have it all added to the tracking dashboard. And that really just ensures that you're set up for success when you start using that feature. So whatever your tracking requests are, just send them over to the support email and we'll get those handled. So I'll hand it back over to you, Sarah.
Perfect, thank you. We already have some guesses coming in here. So again, this one's a little bit different than some of the others we've done. You'll just, by entering numbers only, put in your answer and hit submit. And then you can kind of see as they're coming in, and we'll wait about a second or so, or a few seconds, obviously. And then we will reveal the answer. And it's kind of cool to see you guys' answers pop up on the screen here. There's some really big numbers: 1880, 1735, 1700. If I scooch down, we can see a few more. And 1.5 million. If we had 1.5 million, we wouldn't have time to schedule these ModioUs. All right, we're gonna get ready to reveal the answer. So really quick, put your answer in, hit submit so we can see it here on the screen, and then we will reveal 1422, 222. That's a lot. All right, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and show the answer. And let's see here. You know what? I think this one I have to say it. So let me tell you guys the correct answer for this one. And 469. 469. But we like that you guys have that you guys think that we can handle 1.5 million in 6 months. You guys have a lot of faith in how fast we can do tracking tickets. But tracking tickets is another thing that, it's a little bit different feel to our day, and we enjoy making those revisions, or if sometimes you get your date all locked up and you have to send in that request. Those are things that we still enjoy doing, as well as the other things that you saw here, the tip guides, the ModioUs, the TNO calls, and obviously the implementation call. So overall, we really enjoy being able to give you guys white glove service. Hopefully you think so as well, when it comes to all things training. To kind of end us off today, I'm going to just take a flip. We have a couple of comments from clients. So this slide is what clients are saying about the Modio training team. And just to read a few, the first one's for Danessa, very knowledgeable and personable. We'll go at your pace of learning. For Brandon, always exceptional service. We have one for Leah, always fast turnaround. Thank you. It looks great. And then we have one for myself, very good teacher, clear and concise. So those are things that we love hearing. Usually, when you close out, if you do send tickets, then you may receive the option to add your feedback. So we love, love, love hearing all of those positive things that you guys have to say. So keep that coming. As always, this is going to pretty much end our time for today. But as always, as we mentioned earlier, visit the support page. Let us know, if there are things that you need. There's the hours of operation, phone number, email address. The email is support@modiohealth.com. So send all of your questions there. If you're, looking for anything as far as training is concerned and you're out of implementation, support@modiohealth.com. And before we end, what questions do we have? And
There's one here that I'll read out loud and says, how do we request additional calls or trainings?
perfect. So if you would like additional calls or training, again, and you're out of implementation, support@modiohealth.com. That'll go to your client success manager, and then they will reach out to you to schedule a time to meet and cover whatever topics you guys have that you are wanting to cover. Any other ones?
I was gonna say another good one is should I reach out to TNO with contract questions?
So for all questions about your contract, that is something that you will work directly with your CSM for. If you are post implementation, if you're in implementation, then you have your project manager and they can answer those questions for you. Those are great questions. And we really, again, appreciate you guys, not just for joining today, but for also participating the entire way through. So thank you guys. We really enjoy bringing these things to you with Menti and having that interactive portion. So hopefully you guys really like that. And again, as mentioned earlier, once this is up on the support page, and also when you receive that email, you can review the recording and you have access to see those slides and things again. All right.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you at the next ModioU.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.